Hey everybody, it's Riku Keyblade Master, and sorry if I do sound a bit upset right now. Let's just say that, oh my god, the last 3 days especially, let's just say that I have finally just cracked. And by that, I mean, when shit happens, in a gap, but a lengthy gap, long waits in between, fine. But, like, say, shit hits the fan, like, about an entire week in a row, we're almost like 20 or 21 weeks into this bullshit pandemic, and then, like I said, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and I are very much compatible, and if I know she doesn't know who I am, but one of these days I would love to meet her and discuss how compatible we are to each other. She is back in treatment for cancer again. I forget what kind of type of cancer it is. I think she's also another one of those pancreatic cancer victims as well, just like John Lewis was. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like I said, I hope it's not lung cancer, because ooh. Now, no, I think listen, I think all cancers are bad, but there are some cancers you can recover from, and there are some you just can't. And for someone like me and Ruth Bader Ginsburg to not go down without a fight, considering all the shit that we have both been through. In fact, when they first discovered that lesion back in 2015, one of the doctors had the nerve to be like, yo, I bet that's a cancer deal. And I don't think it is, but I am not ruling it out. As far as I know, it's either a fluid pocket or an air pocket from one of my old malfunctioning plastic shunt replacements. Like I told you guys, I got my shunt replaced 3 times out of the course of my life. 2 when I was, still at a very young, like, during childhood, ages 1 through 9. And then when I received the Teflon one, it's never broken, it's never, I mean, honestly, if you ask me, I did have a close call in 2015. It turns out that we have these things called ventricles. In our neck, apparently, my ventricles were swelling up and essentially pressing against my shunt, which caused me to go into that seizure. I forgot to tell you guys that, but I just forgot. Either I forgot or I just wanted to erase it out of my head because it was bad. And I'm not gonna lie, when they did the CT scan, the ventricles that were around my shunt looked like big amoebas. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. Like, literally, they looked like the same size of the Amoeba Boys from the Powerpuff Girls. Exact same sizes and shape. Basically. And I thought, wait, what the hell? And the doctor was like, yeah, your ventricles were the cause of your seizure, but had you not gone into a seizure, we never would have found the lesion, and to this day, they still can't determine what it is. Like, again, I hope it's not cancerous. I don't think it is, but I am not ruling it out. But anyway, the main reason I am here is to say I feel like I'm torn between keeping on fighting or throwing in the towel. Because, and now hear me out, because like I said, after noticing all of this is going on and nobody's doing anything about it, Trump is just letting deaths happen, and like using the excuse of the virus to get away with murder. He should have invoked the Defense Production Act way earlier. If he had used it earlier to produce ventilators, even if it was just about a month or two earlier, or like Andrew Cuomo said, even if it was like a week or two earlier, we wouldn't be in this problem. But this virus, I don't think it's like the others. I think this one might be, I know I'm a bioweapon, which is why, I've been able to survive many attacks, and there's a high chance that this is what me and Ruth Bader Ginsburg have in common. What if we're both bioweapons and not even realizing, not even knowing? Something is going on. Something is going on. Something is giving us abilities to be able to stand up and not go anywhere without a fight. Other than stubbornness. This goes far beyond stubbornness. Far beyond it. And like I said, a part of my disability is apparently another disease known as Lazarus disease, which also played a part in saving my life when I needed it most. It's basically your other organs, when your other organs shut down, your heart is still beating, which means you still have a chance. I remember my mom telling me stories about when I was airlifted to Iowa City 3 times. And one of the doctors actually did something they shouldn't have and gave me too strong of a muscle relaxer. When basically made it to the point where, yeah, Lazarus, obviously, but they made it so my heart would still be working, but my other organs, wouldn't be. So they can get me airlifted, because if I was awake, I know that I would be afraid. I was like, what? I would have been like, what the fuck? But, yeah. One of the doctors actually did do something wrong and gave me too high of a dose. And that did not go well. That did not go well with my family. And so essentially, there's a chance I could have died before the helicopter even took off. I mean, really. Heesh. Talk about people going rogue. And speaking of rogue, I have made up my mind. Now, there's this joke from Gabriel Iglesias where, like, he was touring to different areas and he went to Singapore, and Singapore adopts different things to where, like, years ago, an American went there and he was graffitiing on a wall. And the penalty for that was he took him aside and beat him until he learned a lesson. So, I hate to say it, but I think now, since people, I've literally reached my breaking point with this. If they don't get their act together, if they don't get things straight, they are gonna wish they had done things sooner. And I'm talking about Trump. He seems like the type of guy who acts like he's not scared of anybody, but he confronts me? You confront me? Oh, hell no. Like I told one of my friends. I said, boy, that boy gonna be getting a black eye. Maybe two. I'm not even gonna lie. Anybody who does the most stupidest crap to not contain this, I finally resorted to, I literally almost have no niceness at all. After all of that, after all of this shit, I don't know what to do because, like, yeah. Here's a good quote to introduce right there. Business over bullshit is my company policy. I mean, shit. Get your act together. And Nancy Pelosi, thank you for helping me out here with trying to set his dumbass straight. But unfortunately, it might take me to have to... And I've told people in the past. I've had people be like, oh my god, you really don't want to screw with her. Especially since I kicked Shadow Flower's locker open in 6th grade when it wouldn't... The lock was stuck. And the lockers were old as hell. So, good reason. Even the principal couldn't blame me for kicking it. And like I said, I have trained skills. I have been... I'm not even kidding. When my brothers used to take Taekwondo, I went to their classes with them and just watched what they did. And I observed the skills, and Todd's assistant was, he walked over to challenge me. Todd, of course, was my brother's old sensei. His assistant challenged me, and he said, I'm not even kidding, like, it took 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and he was pinned to the ground. He goes, what are you, a 10th Dan Aikido? I said, probably. No shit. And the guy who ran KGM Games, the store that opened up here where I live that only lasted about a month or two, turned out to be my brother Lorenzo's old sensei. And I go in there, I start talking to Lorenzo, and he's like, I know that voice. I know that authority anywhere. Vanessa, is that you? I said, yep. The one and only. One of the only people to pin a grown-ass man down to the ground. Not joking. And ever since then, I've been able to still do it. But anyway, guys, that's the kind of action I'm going to start taking if people don't act the way they should be and start working where they should be working instead of petty bullshit. And I'm talking about you, Trump bunker boy. In fact, why don't you go in? Why don't you go back into the bunker? I'll see you guys next time. Love you.